What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ham House Sports. It's Big Matt and Little Matt, and this is our new mic.
Hey, Mike.
Why do you always have to make the corny dad jokes? Let's just get into the video. Tell them what we're doing today.
All right, today we are doing Ham House Sports top 10 moments in 2023.
Yep.
This is classic Late Show with David Letterman. Drum roll.
Joy to the world.
We're going to count down the top 10 moments in Ham House Sports for 2023.
Yep.
Encourage you guys to do this too. It's been a lot of fun for us. Matthew, number 10. Chasing cards. This means buying cards you have no business buying because you get overeager and you make bad decisions. We did this at the beginning of the season. World Baseball Classic. Trey Turner's hitting bombs. We got excited. We missed out on a Trey Turner Gold at $1,700. It ended up doing $2,500. We thought he was going to the moon, so we went and bought an orange, basically doubled up. And Trey Turner came out of the gates in Philly. The first half of the season struggled. Second half season, he bounced back, and they, of course, went to the playoffs. And I do feel good about Trey Turner long term. But we got overeager, bought too big of a card too soon, and we ended up losing our booties on that card.
Yeah, we also bought on that card.
But number 9.
Number nine, Gabriel Gonzalez red.
So we sold that card, the Trey Turner orange, at the National
for $2,200.
For $2,200.
Took a $2,000 loss.
Right. But we used that cash literally 15 minutes later. We were at another dealer's table, and we heard somebody say, "Do y'all have Jackson Holiday?" Well, they didn't, but we did. So we engaged a conversation with this guy, and he really wanted a Jackson Holiday, but he didn't have enough cash to buy our base Jackson Holiday. And so he said, "Check out what's in my shoebox."
He literally had a shoebox with a bunch of cards in it.
Opened the shoebox, and in the top of the shoebox, true red Gabriel Gonzalez.
Pulled it out of a $100 box.
Yes. Now, if you know anything about Bowman, red is the next greatest thing to the superfractor. And Gabriel Gonzalez was such a hot prospect this summer. I had been paying attention to prospects. When I saw this red, I go, "What do you want for that?" And he told us the price point. And then we had a holiday
true blue.
So we traded the holiday blue plus cash into this Gabriel Gonzalez red. Ended up getting a crazy good offer on the Gonzalez red 2 days later.
2 days later.
Not only did it make the money back from the Trey Turner on the chase, we made a little bit of gravy on top. And so we are grateful that we got covered for those bad decisions, good decisions, bad decisions that evened out. It worked out in our favor.
It did work out. Number 8, we made a really good trade.
I'm going to let you tell about this one.
I'll tell this one. We made a really good trade at the beginning of the year. And I think it started because at the Raleigh Card Show, we bought 3 cards. We bought a Grayson Rodriguez True Blue, a Gunnar Henderson Refractor Auto, and a Julio Rodriguez Bowman Auto SGC 1010. Posted them on our Instagram. Somebody said, "Hey, I want these cards." Sent it. We sent him the card. Bro, I can't even talk right now. All right. He sent us what he had. He had an Ohtani SSP and a Steph Curry rookie, 2 cards that we were looking for. And he wanted ours. So, oh my gosh, I can't talk right now. I literally can't talk right now. But
do you want me to tell the story?
I'll tell the story. And we ended up trading him those 3 for the Ohtani and the Curry, and he threw in a box of Bowman Sapphire, which we got some decent hits out of. And the Ohtani, I think we ended up selling it for like
the amount of the whole trade.
The amount of the entire trade, and we got the Curry, which we ended up trading into a Wander Franco that we sold luckily before the incident.
So basically, good job, storyteller.
Oh my gosh, that was so bad.
So basically, we had a $2,000 trade that we ended up cashing out on at about $3,500.
Oh, more, $4K.
Maybe we doubled up on it. So it was.
I think we got $4K.
It was an incredible trade situation into 2 really good cards. In fact, I missed both those cards. I really missed the SSP Ohtani, and I really missed the Steph Curry rookie. Yeah, we can. All right, number 7.
Number 7, the Jason Dominguez.
So this one is actually the Twins at work. So the Twins one night are watching Whatnot
streams. You mean
streams.
one night? They do it every single night.
So the Twins, their involvement in the hobby for Ham House Sports is basically watching Whatnot streams. And they found a Whatnot stream, and they came running to me, go, "Dad, this guy's got a Jason Dominguez True Blue." Now, I knew Jason Dominguez was because he was all the hype back in 2020, 2021. But I also knew that he was really struggling at the beginning of this season and had struggled last year, so his price point had fallen a good bit. But this guy had a true blue Jason Dominguez and a base auto Jason Dominguez. And he was asking like $1,400 for both of
He was
them.
13. And
13?
he said he was overpriced with them.
And so anyway, he said $1,300 and I said done. And so I bought them for
It was his first
$1,300.
Whatnot stream. I remember that.
It was. And it was one of those situations where I was like, $1,300 for both of these. And I don't know if he'd hit him in a pack or he'd got them super
I
cheap
don't know.
or whatever.
He said he's had him for a while.
Yeah. So he
And
had two
He said,
raw.
we didn't offer him that. He literally said, I want $1,300 for these. He's like, I know I'm high, but I want $1,300. That's the lowest I take.
So we bought them straight up $1,300 and they came in the mail. And y'all, I'm looking at this Jason Dominguez
So
blue
off-centered.
and the back centering on it was a little bit off. And then one of the Ham House sports fellas decided to drop the Dominguez blue. Okay. Didn't tell his business partner about this situation. We sent both of these cards
My
in.
face is so red right now. It was not me.
Okay, Kevin. They both PSA 10.
They both PSA 10, and we sold both of them for like around what, 5?
We ended up getting about $6,000
both
value
of
out
them.
of those cards, and we were into them for like $1,500. Like that was a massive win. And at that point in time, we were just like, "Holy cow, we can't even believe what's going on here." That was just super crazy. All right, number 6.
Number 6. Where's number 6?
Your story,
My story. This is
Dallas,
one of my
Texas.
favorite
Are you
ones.
okay to tell this story?
I'm very okay to tell
Okay.
this one. Rah, rah, all right. Got to do some warming up for it. But in Dallas, Texas, Dallas Card Show was not going that well. It was Friday, I think. And we were having a tough day. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody's selling anything. Classic Dallas. But we go to a restaurant that's across the street from the Dallas Card Show. It's called Two Rows. I remember it was called Two Rows. We walk in. We say, "Hey, we're coming from the card show." And this guy named Bane was his name. And he comes and seats us. And he's like, "Show me the cards." I'm like, they're in the car. So I go to the car and get them. He looks at our cards and says, "I love this Jackie Robinson. I want to buy it from you." I'm like, "Man, that's a $300 card." He pulls out Card Ladder, which is a comping app. They're like, not many non-card collectors use. Scans the card. "I gave you $275 for it." And he walks away. And my dad just told me, "I really want to sell him this card." And we agreed and just said, we're going to sell it to him at $200, which we bought it for more than that. And we ended up selling him the card at $200. And he tells us, "Oh, by the way, I'm the mayor of this town."
Yeah. So the guy who owned the restaurant who set us that day was the mayor of Allen, Texas, named Bane. And we got a cool photo. You guys can see the photos. We're putting these pictures up, by the way, as you kind of see what we're talking about here. But this picture with Matthew and Bane was just a super cool moment in Ham House Sports. For
Number 5.
Number 5.
1953 Topps. So is one of our favorite sets. One of my dad's favorite sets. And I know at the beginning of the year, we purchased a 1953 Mickey Mantle. I called my dad stupid for it because, and I
paid over comp.
Okay, yeah, it did 3,600. You paid 52, and it's not over comp.
I didn't say I didn't. I'm telling you.
You paid over comp.
Over
because it was
comp.
centered. We sold that card on eBay for $5,900. He proved me wrong, and he has the bragging rights for that, and I respect him for that because he got what he wanted out of it. But
I didn't want to sell it.
You didn't want to sell it, but
I had somebody in my ear tell me how bad of a purchase it was, so I just threw it on
And we
eBay.
had that Trey Turner that was holding up a lot of cash. So we said, we need the cash before we go to the National.
Yep.
So we decided to sell it. And ever since then, my dad said, "I really want that card back. And so have I. I've always thought it was a cool card. It's one of my favorite vintage cards. And we connected with somebody last year in the hobby. Last year, one of the coolest stories how we connected with him. I saw him in the mall parking lot. He had a truck, and it said, "Buying vintage baseball cards," had a phone number. I wrote the number on a Chipotle napkin with a crayon that my sister had in the back seat. My dad called him, told him our story, and he said, "I want to sell you this card." So we've been talking about it for a while, and we finally picked up the card
deal.
right here.
Got the 1953.
Topps Mickey Mantle.
Yep, and we also got a Satchel Page with it.
Yep.
So
Satchel Page.
the
But
Satchel and
we
the,
bought
the
them both.
Mickey.
Just
That was
something
number
else to do.
5. So number 4 is the craziest story, in my opinion. When we first started in the hobby back in January of this year 23, we had a family friend reach out and said he had some Michael Jordan rookie cards. And of course, you've got to be very aware. Michael Jordan rookies are often duplicated. They're highly faked, and it's a big risk. But he had two raws. One was the 1984 Star Jordan 101.
In the freaking pack.
And it was in the sealed pack,
which is right here.
Which we kept the bag. The Jordan was in this bag. The Star Jordan was in this bag. And he also had the 86 Fleer Jordan. Now, what's crazy about this story is, this is going to be me bringing a little bit of my faith to the table here, is we were in a transition season in our own personal life. And, you know, I didn't have an income at the time. We had some savings. And when this car came to the table, I was praying about it. And I was really asking the Lord, I was like, you know, what do you want to do with this card thing? And I really felt like the Lord gave me the word sow in famine. Even though it doesn't look good, even though there's not a lot going on right now, I want you to sow in faith. Take what you have and sow into this. And so this gentleman came to the house. He had the Star Jordan in the bag. He had the Michael Jordan rookie. He wanted to grade him initially. We cut him out of the bag. We prepped him for grading. And then he called me back and said, man, I really don't want to incur the grading fees and the shipping costs and the risk. Will you just buy these cards from me? So that's when that sow in famine came into play. Went into savings, got some money, bought these cards. They graded pretty well, not incredibly well, and that's what I thought when I told him what was going on. Yeah. And they graded a 6.5 on the Star and a 6 on the Fleer Jordan. And we ended up connecting with somebody from out west. They were traveling east. I met them at the airport. I sold both of these cards to them. And we went and used some of the profits from that to go and purchase our friend who had the cards initially. We got him some Dale Murphy cards. We got him a rookie card of Dale Murphy and an autographed Dale Murphy. That was his favorite player. Yep. And so it was just a great all-around situation. We learned a lot. I missed the Star Jordan terribly, but it's in really good hands, and we made a great connection.
I feel like if we wouldn't have sold that card, then we wouldn't be here right now.
That transaction actually is what launched Ham House Sports into a different level as far as being able to buy and sell and trade and get some of the cards that we now have as our kind of like PC cards. So that was number 4. And number 3. We are going to kind of sum up the national and our travels in these top 3 things. So, Matthew, I want you to talk about these 2 people that you met through our travels, one being at the national, one being at Dallas, and then we'll close up with the final story of the year.
All right. So I've always loved interviewing people, whether it's being on camera with my dad, whether it's with Brennan and Matt from Alt, whether it's with Jimmy Mahan, whether it's with, I love interviewing people. I just love doing it. And one person, I'm one of the national. I remember we were in the bus from the airport to take us to our hotel, and Roth Cards had just done a video with Gary Vee. And we saw the video. I'm like, we got to do a video with Gary Vee because we had a list of who we were doing. And in the restaurant, before we get into deep dish pizza, we were writing questions we were going to ask everybody. Like, we went in this pretty heavy, and we were prepared. That's a great word for it. And we saw Gary Vee the first day. It was Thursday at the National. First day got there. We got in early because we had media badges. So not many people were there. We went to him, asked him. He said, come back. No, it was Wednesday. He said, come back Friday. I'll do it for you. We saw him Thursday night at trade night. We said, Gary, we said, you still on for the interview tomorrow? He said, let's do it right now. We did it at trade night at the National at like 10 p.m. The lights were going off because they were trying to tell us to get out. But it's one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And
so 12-year-old little Matt got to interview Gary Vee, who has like 30 million followers across all platforms, major entrepreneur. Gary Vee was so kind to Matthew, and it really just kind of catapulted Matthew into a space of confidence that this is something that he can do and that he can press into. And Gary Vee was a huge part of making Matthew feel confident and feeling welcome. And that was just an incredible, incredible story.
And when we were in Dallas, I specifically remember that day was one of the most like, I had a migraine. I wasn't feeling good. My stomach was hurting. I just didn't get good sleep because we had stayed up late at trade night. I was just wonky. The show wasn't going good. And I literally had to go back to the car in the parking garage and take a nap for about an hour.
Yep.
We go. I come back in. My dad's watching the Notre Dame NC State game. NC State's getting blown out by Sam Hartman. They always are. And I remember there's a big like black limousine outside. And all these security guards, like, who is this? Like, is there Tom Brady outside? Like, everybody's looking. And then freaking Michael Rubin walks out of the car with all these people surrounding him and the entire Fanatics team there. And Dad says, I was feeling so bad. And Dad's like, this is your chance. So feeling bad, he goes in this one room. We follow him. He's not doing anything. But then we stand up there. He's like, what's up, little man? Gives me a fist bump. He's like, you want to get a picture? So I get a picture. We literally have a 5-minute conversation. He asked me a question. He said, how can Fanatics bring the hobby to a 10x level? And I said, don't price the kids out. They're the future of the hobby, and they are your biggest buyers, believe it or not. And he said, that's a great answer. And then he left, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
So you really look at, and again, people say, I like him, I don't like him. Who cares? Like Michael Rubin and Gary Vee are two of the most influential names in the hobby. And Matthew not only had a chance to meet each of those guys this year, he had a chance to actually have conversations with them. Now, as a guy in my own world who travels and speaks, and, I've done marketing and consulting and wrote a book, and I've done all these different things, right? It's so incredibly difficult to be in front of key influencers like that. And there's people who pay a lot of money to do that, and we didn't have to pay a dime to do that, other than the travel, but we were going there anyway. But it was, my point being is like, that's called favor. And we recognize that. And that's something I'm teaching Matthew about. It's like, when you're doing the thing that you love, there is a way that things begin to kind of line up and happen to encourage you along that path. And from my perspective, when you're stepping out in faith, the Lord has a way of encouraging you along that path. And so those are the incredibly cool things that have happened this year, where this is just something I knew that we were supposed to do. And you have this incredible favor. But listen, we're not taking credit for it. We're not saying, oh, we're super cool, or, oh, we did this. Like, I truly believe the Lord put us in a position this year to have these experiences, to be able to connect with people in the hobby, to share our passion, to share our faith, to share our love for the cards and so forth, but also to be able to connect with people. So that kind of leads us to,
this is the last one. I would like to tell the first half of it, and I'll let you finish with the juicy stuff.
Which part are you going to tell?
I'm going to tell the first, the getting.
No, talk about contenders. Just tell that part.
Yes, I will. So it was Thursday.
Number one Ham House Sports moment of 2023.
Yes, it was Thursday at the National. And I remember first thing we did that morning, we were in the line at BGS. Nick Tucker was there.
Get on with it. Let's go.
I am. And he showed us a Tua Contenders auto, and we were like, these Contenders autos are so cool. I went and bought a Trevor Lawrence all the way across the room when nobody was there. We bought all these Contenders, got 2 Burrow Contenders, got 2 Tuas, got two T-Laws. Like, we were stacking up on Contenders autos because they were the hottest thing at the National. That night, we sold.
We're at trade
night, which was awesome. And we sold probably $10,000 in Contenders cards that night.
Wasn't that much.
Yes, it was. We sold $6,400.
Tell me when you're ready to hand off the story, because I have the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had bought all of these Contenders autos, okay? Yep. Used up a lot of our cash. But we're sitting at the table, and it's a little slow at trade night. And I said, Matthew, why don't you go around to the other tables and find something you want? Mm-hmm. Matthew comes running back over to me, eyes wide open. Dad, this guy's a Shohei Ohtani 2018 Bowman auto. It's a PSA 9. He's only asking $5,000 for it. And I heard a guy on the show floor saying he would pay $10 for it. He goes, you got to get this card right now.
And you're like, what'd you just say?
I'm like, wait a second, bro. We just bought all these Contenders autos and all this kind of stuff, And I literally had like $5,000 left. Like, this was all of our cash, right? And I go up and I look at the card, and I scanned it, and it checked out okay. The number checked out good. I asked a buddy of mine, does this look real to you? Like, am I missing anything here? And I asked the guy, I said, you want $5,000 for this? He said, yes. So I give him $5,000, and I come back to the table with the card. And Matthew and I, you can see the picture here. Matthew and I have this crazy card. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, Matthew, we just spent all our cash or whatever. Yeah. Somebody comes up to our table, a buddy of ours, and he bought us out of all of our Contenders autos.
We sold one to Rob, and we
sold one, and then we sold the rest to Justin. And so that cashed us back out, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the next morning, somebody comes to us and goes, dude, you've got to crack this Shohei out of this slab, and you got to send it back to PSA because it's not serial numbered. They might tin it. And they wanted us to give it. They wanted us to give it to a friend of theirs to crack it out, and I didn't feel good about it. And I said, man, I'm not giving this card up. I'm not letting somebody else take our card. I'm not doing that. And I didn't. And Matthew was frustrated with me. He's like, Dad, these guys are telling you to trust this guy. These guys are telling you to do this thing, and this is what they do.
I'm not trying to defend myself here, but I'm saying it was like one of those things I could have done. I could have gave it to the guy. I could have, but
I had that gut instinct. Do not do this. So I took the card in slab to BGS, and we did a graded card review of that card that morning.
Yeah.
At $300, and it ended up getting a BGS 9.5.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's
Shohei
go!
Ohtani
Oh my gosh!
Shohei Ohtani had a game doubleheader where he threw like a one hitter
and two
hit two home runs. His price points went to the moon, and we found a Shohei super collector that purchased that card from us at the peak of the Shohei market. And again, just that allowed us to continue to do the thing that we love.
We ended up buying, like, with the profits from that, we bought
a bunch
a
of Bowman
Jackson
cards.
Holiday Blue. We bought a Cole Young Gold. So we bought some cool stuff with the profits.
So it's been a lot of fun. So those are our top 10 moments in 2023.
Yep.
And it did a lot of good for us to look back over, like, all of the things that we were blessed with in 2023. And it just gets me excited to see what could happen in 2024. So thank you guys for watching.
Peace.